We turned this city around in 20 months. And then what happened? Started with a madman down in Texas decided he wanted to bus people up to New York City.
Here in New York City tonight into the migrant crisis, New York's Mayor Eric Adams sounding the alarm tonight, pleading for federal help.
This morning, the mayor of the nation's largest city with this controversial warning about the recent influx of migrants, many arriving on buses provided by Texas and Florida.
Hotels like the historic Roosevelt became intake shelters for migrants. The city says they quickly filled up, and the issue became a blame game between the mayor and local aid groups.
Today, we're diving into the contentious debate surrounding Mayor Eric Adams' stance on migrants in the city that never sleeps. New York City, known for its diverse population and status as a sanctuary city, has recently grappled with a surge in crime incidents involving migrants. This rise in criminal activity has ignited a fierce discussion about public safety and the responsibilities of city officials. In the wake of recent high-profile crimes allegedly committed by migrants, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City has voiced support for modifying the city's sanctuary city laws.
So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us?
Mayor Adams emphasized the need for accountability and safety, stating that migrants who repeatedly commit serious crimes should face deportation, and that the city should have the ability to collaborate with federal ICE agents in such cases. During a press conference, the Mayor Eric Adams said, "We can't have these small number of migrants and asylum seekers that have identified that they are going to be dangerous. Hide under the law that there is nothing you can do about it because you cannot tell ICE." This stance marks a departure from the city's existing policies.
We're seeing the erosion of the quality of life that we've improved on in such a short period of time of this administration. And we have been impacted. For many months, we were able to keep the visualization of this crisis from hitting our streets, but we have reached a breaking point. We're no longer able to do that because of the volume in numbers. Just last week,
which prohibit cooperation with federal immigration authorities unless a foreign national has been convicted of a crime. The mayor's stance has sparked intense debate among residents, activists, and policymakers, with opinions divided on the best approach to address the complex issue of migrant crime. While some argue that stricter measures are necessary to combat crime and protect the community, others express concerns about the potential consequences for migrant communities and the city's sanctuary status. As the debate rages on, it's clear that Mayor Adams' stance on migrants is a multifaceted issue with far-reaching implications. Join us as we explore the various perspectives and dive deeper into this pressing topic. But before we dive deep into the discussion, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful discussions on the challenges faced by New York City.
Tonight, New York City officials sounding the alarm after these concerning images. Hundreds of migrants on the sidewalk in Midtown Manhattan.
Background on sanctuary city policy. Sanctuary city policies are local practices designed to limit cooperation between local law enforcement agencies and federal immigration authorities, particularly in regard to the enforcement of immigration laws. Sanctuary city laws refer to local policies adopted by certain municipalities, including New York City, to limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement efforts. The primary purpose of these laws is to protect undocumented immigrants from deportation and to foster trust between immigrant communities and local law enforcement. Sanctuary city policies typically restrict local law enforcement agencies.
Of the store, striking a tourist, not shooting at a cops once, shooting at them twice.
Police say the other two teens were also arrested. The incident now part of a troubling trend of moped robberies, snatches, and pickpocketing in New York City.
From inquiring about individuals' immigration status, prohibit the detention of individuals based solely on immigration violations, and limit cooperation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, detainer requests. New York City has a long-standing history as a sanctuary city, with policies dating back to the late 1980s. In 1989, Mayor Ed Koch signed an executive order prohibiting city officials from sharing information on immigrants without their written consent, except in cases involving criminal matters. Over the years, subsequent mayoral administrations, including those of Mayors Rudolph Giuliani, Michael Bloomberg, and Bill de Blasio have continued and expanded upon these policies. Significant changes to New York City's sanctuary city status occurred in 2011 and 2014 during Mayor Bill de Blasio's tenure. In 2011, a city law was passed to limit cooperation between the NYPD and ICE, and in 2014, Mayor de Blasio further strengthened these protections by removing ICE presence from city jails and prohibiting cooperation with ICE detainer requests without a judicial warrant. These changes solidified New York City's reputation as a sanctuary city and underscored its commitment to protecting its immigrant residents. Despite its sanctuary city status, New York City has faced challenges and controversies over the years. In 2017, the city's policies came under scrutiny after the fatal shooting of a young woman by an undocumented immigrant with a prior criminal record. This incident reignited debates about the balance between public safety and immigration enforcement. Additionally, the Trump administration's aggressive stance on immigration enforcement led to tensions between federal and local authorities, prompting legal battles over funding and immigration policies. Despite these challenges, New York City has remained committed to its sanctuary policies, emphasizing the importance of protecting the rights and safety of all residents, regardless of immigration status. The city's sanctuary status has been viewed as integral to upholding its values of inclusivity, diversity, and social justice, and has garnered support from immigrant rights advocates and civil liberties organizations. Recent crimes and public safety concerns. Recent incidents attributed to migrants have heightened public safety concerns in New York City, fueling debates over sanctuary city policies and law enforcement collaboration with federal immigration agencies. On January 27th, an altercation erupted in Times Square when NYPD officers confronted a group of men from a migrant shelter. The situation escalated into a scuffle, during which nearly a dozen young men assaulted the officers as they attempted to make an arrest. Just days later, on February 8th, a 15-year-old migrant from Venezuela who arrived in the United States in September, was arrested and charged as an adult after a shooting incident at a Times Square store. The altercation began when a store security guard confronted the teen about a jacket he had in his possession. In response, the teen drew a gun and fired a shot, accidentally hitting a 37-year-old Brazilian tourist. Following the initial confrontation, the teen fled the scene, leading law enforcement officers on a chase through Times Square. During the pursuit, the suspect fired 2 shots at the officers before being apprehended by NYPD detectives and U.S. Marshals. These incidents, along with reports of theft rings and gang recruitment allegedly involving migrants, have fueled public anxiety and contributed to a growing perception of insecurity among New Yorkers. Many residents express frustration and fear over the perceived increase in violent crimes attributed to migrants, leading to calls for stricter enforcement of immigration laws and collaboration between local and federal authorities. According to NYPD's Chief of Patrol John Chell, the shooting incident in Times Square was way beyond reckless, emphasizing the severity of the situation and the risks posed by such acts of violence. This sentiment was echoed by NYPD Police Commissioner Edward Caban, who referred to the incident as a criminal act that posed a serious threat to public safety, stating, "In the middle of the busiest, most highly trafficked part of this city, a criminal with a firearm decided to pull the trigger." The brazen nature of these attacks, occurring in highly populated areas like Times Square, has exacerbated fears among residents, who now question the effectiveness of law enforcement in safeguarding their neighborhoods. Concerns about escalating violence and the potential risks associated with undocumented migrants have heightened tensions and fueled calls for stricter enforcement measures. Manhattan Assistant District Attorney Kathleen Coulson emphasized the severity of the situation during the teen suspect's arraignment, stating, "The defendant has demonstrated that he is an extreme flight risk and is facing a long sentence of incarceration on this strong case where he shot an innocent bystander in Times Square and then fired at the police officer who was trying to arrest him." Amidst these safety concerns, there has been a renewed emphasis on the importance of community policing and building trust between law enforcement and residents. However, the incidents have also reignited debates about immigration policies and their impact on public safety. Mayor Eric Adams' response and plan. Mayor Eric Adams is pushing for modifications to sanctuary city laws in New York City, advocating for measures that would enable the deportation of migrants involved in serious crimes and facilitate collaboration with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Adams' proposal entails allowing city agencies to communicate more effectively with ICE to deport immigrants implicated in criminal activities. He argues that existing restrictions on information sharing hinder law enforcement's ability to address public safety concerns effectively. Adams stated, "We should be communicating with ICE, and if ICE makes the determination of deporting, then they should." The rationale behind Adams' plan revolves around enhancing public safety and preventing future crimes. He believes that allowing for greater cooperation with ICE will enable law enforcement agencies to effectively address criminal behavior among immigrants. Adams has expressed concerns about the limitations imposed by current sanctuary city laws, particularly regarding the sharing of information pertinent to criminal investigations. Adams' stance on modifying sanctuary city laws stems from his background as a former NYPD officer and his commitment to ensuring the safety and security of all New Yorkers. He emphasizes the need for proactive measures to address criminal activities perpetrated by individuals residing in the city, regardless of their immigration status. While Adams' proposal has garnered support from some quarters, it has also sparked debates regarding the balance between public safety and immigrant rights. Critics argue that his approach may lead to increased fear and mistrust within immigrant communities, potentially undermining efforts to foster cooperation between law enforcement and residents. As Adams continues to advocate for changes to sanctuary city laws, his administration aims to strike a balance between safeguarding public safety and upholding the rights of immigrants. The proposed modifications reflect his commitment to addressing the evolving challenges faced by the city and ensuring the well-being of its residents. Opposition and support. Support for Mayor Adams' plan to modify sanctuary laws has emerged from various quarters, including city council members, residents, and other figures concerned about public safety. City Councilman Joe Borelli welcomed the mayor's remarks, describing the proposed changes as a welcome change and emphasizing the importance of prioritizing public safety, WABC. Additionally, several New Yorkers expressed agreement with the mayor's stance, citing concerns about the need to address criminal behavior effectively. One resident, Diana Taylor, remarked, "Personally, I think the mayor is on the right page. I think it's a good thing to revisit," said Isabel Harper. "If you're a violent person and committing crimes against other people and becoming a disruption to how the city works, that needs to be looked into." However, opposition to the mayor's plan has also surfaced, particularly from organizations like the Legal Aid Society, which have raised significant concerns about due process and community cohesion. The Legal Aid Society has voiced alarm over Mayor Adams' push for increased cooperation with ICE, expressing apprehension about the potential consequences for immigrant communities. Zachary Ahmad, senior policy counsel at the New York Civil Liberties Union, NYCLU, criticized the mayor's proposals, stating, "Mayor Adams' shameful threats to end New York's years-long status as a sanctuary city will only result in the cruel targeting, demonization, and demoralization of our immigrant neighbors." The NYCLU also challenged the mayor's claims regarding an immigrant crime wave, asserting that data does not support such assertions. Critics argue that Adams' plan may exacerbate existing divisions within communities and undermine trust in law enforcement among immigrant populations. Concerns have been raised about the potential impact on families, with fears that increased collaboration with ICE could lead to family separations and further marginalization of vulnerable individuals. Despite these criticisms, Mayor Adams remains steadfast in his commitment to modifying sanctuary laws in pursuit of enhanced public safety. As debates continue to unfold, stakeholders on both sides of the issue are engaging in dialogue to address concerns and explore potential solutions that balance the imperative of safety with the protection of immigrant rights. Financial and social implications. The influx of migrants into New York City during the border crisis has had significant financial repercussions, with estimates indicating that the city has incurred costs exceeding $10 billion to provide care for them. This staggering figure underscores the immense strain placed on municipal resources and taxpayer dollars due to the unprecedented surge in migration, as an estimated 150,000 migrants have arrived in the city amid the crisis. The financial burden has become increasingly unsustainable, with estimates suggesting costs could soar to $12 billion over 3 years. The costs associated with providing essential services, such as shelter, healthcare, education, and social support, have escalated rapidly, stretching the city's budget to its limits. These expenditures not only impact the allocation of funds for existing programs and services, but also require additional resources to accommodate the growing needs of the migrant population. From establishing temporary shelters to providing medical care and social services, New Yorkers have shouldered the financial responsibility of accommodating and supporting these individuals during their stay. Beyond the financial implications, the debate over sanctuary city laws and the recent crimes attributed to migrants have reverberated through New York City's social fabric, impacting community relations and the city's reputation. Moreover, recent high-profile crimes allegedly committed by migrants, such as the Times Square shooting involving a 15-year-old migrant, have intensified public scrutiny and safety concerns. While these incidents are isolated, they have contributed to a sense of unease among New Yorkers and worsen existing tensions surrounding immigration policies. Such events risk fostering resentment and division within communities, undermining social cohesion and trust in law enforcement. Furthermore, the perception of New York City as a sanctuary for migrants, coupled with the challenges posed by the influx, may tarnish its reputation as a global beacon of diversity and inclusivity. The city's image as a welcoming haven for immigrants could be overshadowed by concerns over public safety and the strain on resources. This could have ramifications for tourism, investment, and international relations, potentially impacting the city's economic vitality and standing on the world stage. In conclusion, the debate over modifying sanctuary laws in NYC revolves around enhancing public safety while upholding migrant rights. While Mayor Adams advocates for stricter measures, critics raise concerns about potential consequences. We encourage viewers to engage in the conversation, listen to different perspectives, and work towards solutions that uphold both public safety and the principles of inclusivity and justice. Your voice matters in shaping the future of our city. Let's come together to build a community where everyone feels safe and valued. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more discussions on pressing issues facing New York City and beyond.